Good morning. Welcome to the empire of the polar vortex. As you can see, it's 10 degrees Fahrenheit at 8:28 in the morning. Well, let me tell you about a little story that happened, just about 3 hours ago when I woke up. Well, sir, you see, nothing gets your attention more than when wifey gets up at 5:30 in the morning and comes running into the bedroom when you're all teary-eyed and says, honey, the furnace is out. It's 49 degrees in the house. Well, that was a situation here at 5:30 a.m. Due to this polar vortex that is sweeping the whole country, part of the great Chinese conspiracy and Donald Trump's collusion with the Russians, we are locked in the coldest weather we've had in a long time. And of course, that's when most furnaces work overtime. And of course, that's when most furnaces fail. So, statistically, what are the chances of getting a repair guy out here post-haste? Very slim, because they're going to be all over the place fixing other people's furnaces. That's an emergency dilemma. Pardon the sunshine. So, at times like this, you got to keep cool. And you just have to take a deep breath, have a cup of coffee, maybe put a shot of wild turkey in it or whatever. And you have to start logically thinking, well, what do we do here? Because on a day like today, when the wind's supposed to pick up and it's 10 degrees standing, you got a good chance of freeze-ups and everything if you don't have heat in your house. So, troubleshooting is in order. And logical troubleshooting is the way to go about it. Starting at the beginning. All right, I am arriving at that last bastion for home gamers and troubleshooters alike, the home despot, to get the part I desperately need to solve my dilemma in total. Nobody here at this hour. Now, one piece of advice I could give to all you home gamers, those of us who nail ourselves to the homeowner's cross in particular, the world runs on electrons. Pixies are everywhere. Even if it isn't an expensive multimeter like this one or a cheaper one, get one, learn how to use it, because it's going to save you a shit ton of work and money to have the quote-unquote professionals come in and solve your problems. And that's if they can get there. So, just a piece of advice. You live in a house with electricity, obtain one of these things and learn how to use it. Now, the first thing that you do when you're approaching a problem like this is obviously check your thermostat, make sure it's set right. If you have batteries in it, make sure that the batteries are good. That being said, check your emergency switch, make sure that that's on, and check your breaker and make sure that that's on. Then most furnaces, at least the ones made after 1980 or so, have a little window or something because there's a power board on there. And you look inside there and you look for a little blinking light that gives you a fault code. Well, I don't have any blinking light. I don't have nothing. So that leads me to believe there's no power to this thing. None at all. Because that LED light is like the last thing that would ever go. Even if there's a total meltdown on this furnace, that light would still be blinking some kind of fault code in most cases. So we have to start seeing where we're at, and this is why you need a multimeter. Okay, the first thing I did with all electronics on, that is a breaker and the emergency switch, I checked for voltage at the hot feed here. This is the feed that comes in right from the switch, and the neutral and ground here, and I didn't have anything. I should have 120 volts there. Even if the unit is off, I should have 120 volts there if the safety switch is on. So then I went to the safety switch, which is right next to the unit, and I didn't have voltage at the load side over there. So right there I'm suspecting a bad switch, but just to be sure, I went even further. I went to my circuit breaker panel and I made sure I had the breaker. I reset, I turned it off and turned it back on, and I made sure I had 120 volts at the output of this breaker, which I did. It's in the off position now because I'm in repair mode. So I had power at the breaker. I didn't have power at the unit. When I tested the switch, I had power on the load side, but I didn't have power. I had power on the feed side. I'm sorry. The feed side, I had power. The load side, which is a lower one, I did not have power. So that indicates a bad switch. And as you can see, this switch is pretty scuffed up. Now, the furnace I replaced, this house is 27 years old. The furnace I replaced 11 years ago. The switch is original equipment. And this is one of those 74-cent contractor doodads, so I'll put in a new switch. So this is what had to be done temporarily. I took the wire that was down here and I just jumpered it up there. You could see the feed. So I basically bypassed the switch.
Okay, and here's a culprit. $1.29. Yeah, right. That'll do.
And there you have it. A new switch. And the furnace chooching away like it's designed to do. You can see the little green light in there as all systems are go. And the day is saved. So, just to recap, when you're in a situation like this, take it logically, step by step. The first thing you need to know, are pixies getting in here? Now, if pixies are getting in here, you'll have a fault light, and that's a totally different diagnostic altogether. And YouTube, as well as a multimeter, is your friend. So the day is saved, the pipes won't freeze, the animals won't die. Yeah, wifey's all happy now. And I didn't have to wait all day for a repair guy. Just a trip to the Home Depot and a $1.29 switch. That's it for today. See you later.